Have you ever noticed someone who does things slightly differently from everyone else? They eat alone without feeling awkward about it. They sit in silence without needing to fill it. They ask questions nobody else thought to ask. And somehow, without announcing it, without trying to prove anything, they always seem to be 3 steps ahead of every room they walk into. Psychology says these are not random quirks. These are patterns. And in Europe, researchers have identified 6 specific habits that appear repeatedly in individuals with frighteningly high levels of intelligence. Not book intelligence, not test scores, the kind of intelligence that quietly shapes everything around it without ever asking for credit. 1. They are deeply comfortable with being misunderstood. Psychologists who study high intelligence consistently find one trait that separates genuinely intelligent people from merely educated ones: tolerance for ambiguity. Highly intelligent Europeans do not need everyone to agree with them. They do not need to be understood immediately. They have learned through experience that original thinking almost always looks strange before it looks correct. Research from the University of Amsterdam shows that individuals with higher cognitive flexibility are significantly more comfortable holding unpopular positions without anxiety. They are not contrarian. They simply do not require consensus to feel confident in their own thinking. 2. They talk to themselves, and it actually makes them smarter. This one surprises people every time. Research published in psychology journals across Europe confirms that self-directed speech, the habit of talking through problems out loud or in your head, is directly linked to higher cognitive performance. It is not a sign of eccentricity. It is a sign of an active and highly organized mind processing information at a deeper level than most. Highly intelligent Europeans use internal dialogue as a tool. They think out loud. They argue with themselves. They question their own conclusions. And that constant internal conversation is precisely what keeps their thinking sharper than everyone around them. 3. They find most small talk genuinely exhausting. Psychology research on introversion and high intelligence shows a consistent and fascinating pattern. The more cognitively active a person's mind is, the more draining they find conversations with no depth. This is not arrogance. It is neuroscience. A highly intelligent brain is constantly processing at a high level. Dropping down to surface-level conversation requires a kind of mental gear shift that feels genuinely uncomfortable. European high-intelligence individuals are not antisocial. They are selectively social. They save their energy for conversations that actually go somewhere, and they feel the difference immediately when a conversation has nothing underneath it. And the next 3 habits are the ones that will make you stop and think. Because these are not the habits people associate with intelligence. These are the quiet, strange, almost invisible patterns that highly intelligent Europeans carry through their daily lives without ever realizing how rare they actually are. 4. They lose track of time when they are genuinely interested. Psychologists call this state flow. It was first identified by Hungarian psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi and has since been studied extensively across European universities. Flow is a state of complete mental absorption where time disappears, self-consciousness disappears, and the brain operates at its absolute highest level of focus and performance. Highly intelligent Europeans enter this state regularly, not because they try to, but because their minds are naturally drawn toward depth. They do not half engage with things that interest them. They disappear into them completely. And research consistently shows that the ability to enter deep flow states is one of the strongest indicators of high cognitive intelligence ever identified. 5. They notice contradictions that nobody else catches. This habit is subtle, but it is everywhere once you know what to look for. Highly intelligent Europeans have an almost automatic ability to detect inconsistency in conversations, in arguments, in systems, in ideas. Psychology links this to a cognitive trait called logical dissonance detection. Their brain is constantly running a background check on everything it receives. When something does not add up, they feel it immediately, even before they can fully articulate why. This is why highly intelligent people are often the first to question things that everyone else has simply accepted. They are not looking for problems. Their brain finds them automatically. 6. They are genuinely curious about things that have no practical use. This final habit is the one that most clearly separates high intelligence from simple cleverness. Clever people learn what they need to know. Intelligent people learn because they cannot help it. Research across European academic institutions consistently shows that individuals with the highest cognitive scores share one defining characteristic. They are fascinated by things that serve no immediate purpose. Ancient languages, obscure history, philosophical questions with no answers, patterns in nature that nobody asked them to study. Psychology calls this epistemic curiosity, and it is the engine behind every significant intellectual breakthrough Europe has ever produced. If you recognize yourself in any of these six habits, psychology is not calling you difficult, strange, or too much. It is telling you that your mind operates at a level that most people around you will never fully understand. And that is not a problem to fix. That is simply who you are. Which of these six habits do you recognize in yourself? Tell us in the comments below. And if this video finally explains something you always felt but could never put into words, subscribe. Because on this channel, we do not just talk about intelligence. We recognize it in the people who were never told they had it.